note than I need it to be.
But I think the real controversy, though, is about a lot of things Jimmy Carter has done over the past few years. He has almost a rogue position, even where left-wing Democrats are considering him a rogue politician at this point. Can you just officially, in front of this audience, comment on your feelings for at least his current political...
My letter was focused on one issue and one issue alone, the role that he played in saving the base. That was the intent of the thank you note. Some would say that, well, you know, why did you even bother thanking him at all? But I grew up in a household where my mom always used to say, you thank people who do something that you think is important and that you're grateful for. 31,000 jobs, we're grateful for. $4 billion worth of revenue, we're grateful for. Maintaining the subsurface center of excellence that we have here in Connecticut with Bob Ballard, with the Avery Point Marine Sciences Division at UConn, with all of the other components of what we have, we're grateful for. It has nothing to do with his position on Israel. I don't agree with him on Israel. It has nothing to do with his position on many other issues that he's pursued since he's been president. It has specifically to do with the role that he played in assisting us in keeping the ground and submarine base open.
All right, we have time for one more question.
I'll let you pick. If I pick and I get the wrong person, it won't vote for me.
You brought up the subject of the submarine base.
Yes,
and for a long time I've been thinking about why we're not doing more in Connecticut about our ports. We have a rich maritime history, and yet we have not invested anything in our infrastructure at all. And this is partially the state fault, but leaders like yourself who've been in the state legislature, who've had an opportunity to be in Congress to send funds or whatever, ideas, do something about this, have not done it either. Even though you come from that very same port. So what I'm saying is, here we have Newark, we have Charleston building enormous ports in order to handle these mammoth ships that are now flying the seas. They can't go anywhere else. They're too big, even for New York City. And we're not doing anything about it. We have a port that can do that. If we just built the infrastructure, what do you get? You get rich union jobs. You want to get unions on your side? Here's an opportunity. You get these big trailer trucks off 95. You want to get them off 95? Have them come up into New England here. Go back into New York, right down the interstate, right inland. They don't have to come over this New England Turnpike. There's a lot of things that could be done. We're not thinking outside of the box in this state.
Thank you for the question. Anybody fail to hear the question or the comment?
I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah. I served as ranking member of the Transportation Committee in the Connecticut General Assembly at a time when the State Pier in New London was going to be closed, sold to the City of New London for $1 and transferred to the friend of a councilor for an enterprise that we felt was never going to be successful. We not only funded the rebuilding of the State Pier completely, we saved it in the sense that we kept it as a state entity. We reorganized the legislation dealing with all of Connecticut's ports. We spent $25 million in reinvesting and rebuilding the base and providing warehouses for it and connecting to the railhead. Now, the New London port is a better port than the Bridgeport port, although we've tried to keep that open as well. But it silts in. That's the problem we have with Bridgeport. And the port facilities in Bridgeport are actually owned by the union, so the state has less influence there. With regard to New Haven, investments have been made in New Haven as well. But in addition to bringing in shipping, we did for a number of years bring in ocean liners. The third largest cruise ship in the world has come into New London over the last several years. For visitation, we've had up to 12 a year. Unfortunately, the Connecticut General Assembly saw fit to terminate all of the funding for tourism in the state of Connecticut to include the funding for the port visits of these ships, which is a modest amount. It runs between $50,000 and $75,000 a year. But I'll also extend my answer by saying that I've also supported rail in Connecticut. Providence and Worcester delivers to 22 companies in Connecticut. On the Amtrak line, I was able to negotiate favorable rates so Amtrak couldn't raise the rate and drive them off the line. 22 customers were shut off for freight rail service. The numbers of 18-wheelers on our highways would increase by 55,000 a year, and if they were shut off from the Amtrak line in Rhode Island, it would be a total of 75,000 18-wheelers a year. And for better or for worse, the longshoremen did endorse my campaign a few years ago in exchange for the work that I did for our port. So I will respond to you by saying that I have done a lot of that work, and I'd like to continue doing that work because it's very important.
Thank you very much. What's that?
Hopefully just continue.